Welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I'm your host, Edward Sheldon, aka Dark Logos, and this is the show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. What I'm going to be doing today is not looking at a rule book, but that's there. I was looking at that for something else. I'm going to go into Roll20 and we're going to look at the underground map from Star Trek, and I think this is going to be a really big map for all those who were unable to get the dungeon map from Rock. So first off, this is I haven't done a topography episode in a while, like a long while. So this is one of the little things that have come from me picking up OBS or whatever, is that I can, you can see my little face down here in the bottom. I might remove that in the future, but I also can like draw stuff real time and pretty much make content that way. All right, so let's break some things down. We're going to call this the top of the key, which is your where your letters are at, and on the bottom of the key will be where the letters are not. So that's just to use some of my normal terminology that I have. Let's look at a couple of important things. Okay, first things first. If we're at the top of the key, we have to determine which way we're going to be navigating down. So I'm going to draw my little lines. So we can navigate to the other side of the map like this. We can navigate to the other side of the map like so, or we can navigate like so. Okay. Now, I know some people will say, like, well, Dark Logos, you can go all the way down like that, but more than likely, this area down here, you're more likely going to be in a bad engagement if you navigate down this way. Also, if you have multiple figures going down this side on the left, or functionally for the screen on the left, will not be as useful because you're going to have too many characters that you're going to be carrying. And then you're pretty much lining them up, for a single file polka shot. And that's not a good idea. All right, so that's first of all. We could, and I'm still learning about waxing on, waxing off Grasshopper just a little bit with the Roll20, so bear with me. So anyway, you can see as I try to make things worse and get rid of previous lines drawn, that you really don't have that many ways of approaching. You can inverse the lines, top to bottom, bottom to top. Okay, so that's the important thing, is that you can, as I fiddle with this, you're limited in your approaches. All right. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at some other elements that are on this map. Okay, I'm going to get another color here because, why not make this look like a 2-year-old drew all over it? That's probably going to be one of the main things from this episode. It's like, look, a 2-year-old drew on it. I'm going to try one more time. There we go. To delete all that. There we go. Dark Logos, finally able to use technology. All right, so let's look at some fire lanes here. And, previously we saw that we're mostly, if we're going down and we're looking at two major lanes. This is major lane 1, and this is major lane 2. And you can sort of split that off. And all right, roll 20. I actually hit my little side button, so there we go. All right, zooming back out. So we only have 2 really main lanes for us to navigate through. All right, but if we're looking at being, a little quirky, we can see where our major lines of fire are coming from. So we're going to be targeting in here. This little piece of blocking terrain is primed to be destroyed to open up firing lanes. So right there, this piece of blocking terrain here on F13, okay, needs to be destroyed to open up firing lanes here, and to sort of make firing lanes. You can make some firing lanes over here. Okay. Now, if you notice, we could cover a good amount of space, but it's not infinite, and it's not straight free flowing. There are some limitations. So as I'm going to finish drawing out the rest of our little firing situation. So we want to blow this here, and we could possibly blow this one here. So resizing the map just to be a little bit more fitting. So we can look at D16, and you can write these down if you want to as squares to blow. D16, F13, J21, and L13. These are the squares that you need to get destroyed so that you can actually get some solid shots off. Now I'm looking at that as either you're coming down or you're moving up. Now let me explain a couple of things. Why the top of the key is technically better for defense but worse for offense. Okay, the top of the key is better for defense but worse for offense. But real quick, we're going to look at these firing lanes. You can see that you're going to get like your most range value right in this area here. Or you can running shot up and take a shot to somebody over here. Or you can running shot here and get somebody in this middle area. Then if you wanted to try to flank, if you destroy the L13 square, you could make like a thread the needle type thing right in there. Okay. Yeah, but I really wouldn't recommend that shot unless you're really, having to hit something in there, because that's a very narrow shot and you're not really guaranteed to get a lot of figures on that angle. But it is it's a pretty nice little angle. So, and I know you're like, hey, but it doesn't draw real straight, Dark Logos. Yeah, I know. My mouse foo is not that good. All right, so you can see that these give you the most opportune chances to take shots while also giving you the chance to actually utilize your range. Like these lines of fire pretty much allow you to have just about any standard base range that's in the game right now and actually make a shot without hindering your range. So we'll delete all this, and let's look at why the top is easier to defend than the bottom. So we're going to go back, find that hot pink, because we love it. And let's start breaking it down. First off, if you want to defend, you can easily put barrier right here, right in here. Okay, you literally have 5 squares that you need to cover. And if you don't even want to cover that C4 right here, you don't have to. You can cover the D5, go over to A through C5. Sorry, A through C6, my apologies. And your opponent has to blow out A through B8 plus C7 and then start working on your barrier. Okay? They have to do that. And the only way they're going to do that really significantly is if they have improved movement destroys blocking. So let's not front about that. Okay, so there's that. Then the next reality that we are going to look at is once you have this little pocket right here, you can just border up. Like, this is easy to defend, and your opponent either has to blow down all this area, which means that their most direct approach is this right here, that A lane. And we already know if your opponent is coming down that A lane, all you have to do is blow A8. Just blow that square, and they're single file line, and you just start capping them, like, you know, mercilessly. Like, it's real bad. Okay, so you're able to bunker down on the top of the key. So let's delete my chicken scratch. All right, and let's go back. All right, so we understand like why this is good. So let's explain why this area here is good. Okay, the main reason why this area here is good is that you can choke and isolate an opponent coming up this way or coming up this way. Now, let's dissect that a little bit. Okay. If you have barrier or smoke cloud even, and you want to hinder your opponent's movement, and let's just say they're coming up through the main way, all right, your opponent has a decision. Like, if they don't have the ability to blow a bunch of walls, then they're not going to go directly at you. But let's just say that they do. They're going to have to spend at least one turn blowing one of these two squares here. So either the D10 square or the E9 square. Okay, you have to blow one of those up. Let's just say you blow the D10 square up. That's going to open up a lot of, But with a standard 3 actions, you spend an action blowing up that square. You've taken a shot. You might be able to take another shot, but more than likely it took you another action just to get your team in this area. Boom, you take one shot. If you fail that shot, your opponent can not only just retaliate, but also, if they have a taxi, maneuver right down in here through the other approach vector. And then you have a problem, because now you have to readjust the team to go back and over. Okay? And that's a problem. So there's more energy sort of trying to pick up pieces and create more opportunities than it's worth. So that's why I would really promote, like, realistically, that we have to navigate the game towards a lot of improved movement destroys blocking. Okay, so do another nice little clean draw reset. I wish there was a default color. If I can just set the default color to this hot pink, because it contrasts so well with everything else on the screen. But yeah, so if your opponent comes up, let's talk about your opponent coming up this way. Your opponent comes up this way. The moment that they crest this little ridge area, you can dip set back in here if you have any level of mobility and be like, nana boo boo, I'm going to tag you here and then run back here and start this game all over again. Or if they really want to drag it out, they can tag here and then navigate over in here. Now you're going to say, Dark Logos, this doesn't make sense. Why would they navigate all the way over there if they can get there? Well, let's sort of break that down. That's 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 squares is a reasonable movement. So they're carrying. So your hyper carry is right about in here. All right, let's look at it. If you're in here, or even let's just say you have some sort of phasing, and you could go straight into this area here, your opponent has to either navigate all the way down and come up, or blow through 2 technically solid walls. You have 2 free walls of barrier just there. for you to utilize. And then also, everybody, just let me know if the scale is not good enough. Like if I need to make it bigger or smaller. I looked at OBS for a second. It's like I don't know if y'all can see everything. I'm gonna try to let's play with. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. All right, so once we see that space that we're moving into over here is a lot more defensible, you can easily start plopping down into here as your next, fallback. The biggest element that I've noticed is that if you are like a hypersonic speed team, or you have some ability to shoot and then fall back with the hyper taxi or something like that, this map is ridiculous. And I know everybody would say oh, but yeah, any hypersonic speed piece would be ridiculous on this type of map. And I'm like, yes, it is one of the more optimal maps for that type of tactic. But it's just mainly the amount of terrain that an average character has to navigate to get from point A to point B to engage. I really want to make that clear. Point A to point B to engage. Not point A plus point B equals engage. That's not it. It's point A to point B, and then engage. Then to the engage. Those can be specifically 3 separate actions in some cases. Okay, or even over a course of more than one turn. So you can see you have these fallbacks, and even if you want it to be silly, I think this down here is a better fallback, but you could fall. Okay, that's really bad. You could fall back up here and just say I'm on this ONP 4 line. And the moment that you crest that, your opponent crests that, you're like, I got you, son. I got you. All right. So hopefully you can see a little bit of why the top key is more defensive. Because you have too many options to mess with your opponent to make them come at you if they have very limited mobility. Okay, now let's talk about some other elements that are also a problem with this map. So I love some Kool-Aid Mans. Kool-Aid Mans are really great for this game, and unfortunately, I think not enough people play Kool-Aid Mans or think about Kool-Aid Mans from a design perspective. And here's why. This map creates multiple situations for a Kool-Aid Man to create lines of fire. So let's just say, let me go over to my images. I'm going to pull out, let's see, here we go. Skyscraper Wonder Woman joins the team. Okay. All right, we're going to resize Skyscraper Wonder Woman here. Boop. All right. Skyscraper Wonder Woman joins the team. All right, and I'm going to put, we're going to clone Skyscraper Wonder Woman because everybody likes Skyscraper Wonder Woman. We're going to clone her down here. All right, bam. All right, cool. We got 2 Skyscraper Wonder Womans. So let me set that up, and then let's get a Nick Fury onto the board. All right, Nick Fury. I also have a Nick Fury safe house. All right, let's resize him. Okay, and then we're going to copy Nick Fury as well as our second Nick Fury. All right. Now, I'm going to set these characters up. Just mainly you can look at it as Nick Fury as the shooter. And, the Wonder Woman as the Kool-Aid Man. Or the Kool-Aid Woman in this case. All right. So, and I want to just make it clear of like how much things open up. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use Unimind. Come on. I know I have Unimind. Well, I got a lot of stuff. Alright, bam. Alright, so we got Unimind. I know someone's out there is like, I did not want to watch dark logos fiddle around with Roll20. Actually, Unimind doesn't show up that well. Let's see, Goblin King. Yeah, let's do Goblin King. Yeah, Goblin King. There we go. All right, so we're gonna always we're just gonna play Ring Around the Goblin King. Goblin King is always going to be our target because more than likely we're not always going to be shooting at a huge, 2x2 or a 2x4 figure. So let's open this up. All right, so it's free open season on Goblin King. So let's start from the top of the key. And we can easily just say if Goblin King is trying to post up and be safe here in the middle of the map, he's like, look, man, you're not going to get a good shot off, with your Nick Fury. Ha 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 ha. We can easily have our Skyscraper Wonder Woman go 1, 2, 3 right here, because again it shrinks down into one square, and we have to make sure that we don't cross like diagonally, or else we have to pick the path of least resistance, and we have to pick a square to go through. We don't get like a free square and then leave two squares like this together. We don't get that. So we have to actually create a straight line of some sort. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 9. Yep. We would go something like that, or actually, I take that back. I missed in my line of fire here. Okay, so what we would go and do is I'm going to say we're going to move here. So we're going to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't quite get it, because I need one more movement, I think, to clear this. Or let's just see. Actually, yep, I was right the first time I was thinking about it. So this is the fun I do like about doing OBS, is that you all can start to see some of my thought processes live. So boom, 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 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So right here. All right, so I can blow through right here, or even I should be able to slightly, I don't even think I need to go over that far. I could just probably go straight down and then over 1. Yeah, I think I could go straight down and over 1, and I should be able to draw a line of fire. So I could open up a straight line of fire, navigating through, and then I can have Wonder Woman somewhere like here. And of course, Nick Fury shoots through characters. So that's something to, that I'm taking into account. So now the top Nick Fury has line of fire to Goblin King, and cool stuff can happen. Now I know somebody will say like, but the range, Dark Logo's the range. We're just trying to get line of fire right now. Not necessarily being in range, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's definitely not in range of Nick Fury. So, all right. So we're gonna put Wonder Woman back up. We're gonna clean this up just a bit. All right. So I'm gonna move Goblin King I'm going to move him on the other side of the wall. And now we have Wonder Woman. Sorry, we have the bottom Nick Fury trying to get line of fire onto Goblin King. We can easily see that there's a little bit less to do, but it's going to be more than one turn. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we know that our Wonder Woman can get around here, but we don't want to get wrecked by Goblin King. All right. So this leads us into a huge problem. And this is, again, like I said, it's easier to defend on this map on the top of the key than it is on the bottom of the key. Because, let's see, because the moment I move Wonder Woman out and I have her destroy any amount of terrain to try to open up a shot, and then she ends, like, let's just say she'll end over here. Well, right here. Yeah, right here. It leaves me open to being counterattacked easily by Goblin King. Goblin King zips down here, even though I may have opened up all this here, which would allow for a really nice shot with Nick Fury. Okay. So there are some problems that are like immediately shown on this map. That the bottom of the key does not really give you a really great line of fire if you start blocking or destroying blocking. Okay. Now, if we sort of reset, we can see that our dummy Goblin King has a problem. Let's just say the dummy Goblin King is friendly to the top force. Now, if the friendly Goblin King decides to move out from this position, and let me see if I can get it to ping. Yep, there we go. From this position, I hope y'all can see the ping. Then we can definitely say it doesn't have many places to go to actually gain ground without being shot. Okay, so let's just say, for example, Goblin King goes over here. Well, that's going to be easy amount of space to clear out with Wonder Woman. Okay, if Goblin King goes over here, sort of the same thing again. There's not that as many squares to knock out, but because I reset the Wonder Woman, between too many squares. I need to make her a little wider. Okay, there we go. I could say, like, oh, look, she could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, she can even get to over there now that I look at it. So Wonder Woman can clear a nice line of fire on this little axis here pretty definitively. Okay. So, unfortunately, if we're not going to cross the kill line, we're not gaining that much ground. Okay, unless we're able to full on engage. So then the best spot to be is right here in F12. That's the best spot that you can get. If you try to do something more equivalent, you can try in 11 and then try to make a huge, leap down. But again, you're navigating through more blocking terrain from N11 than you are from F12. So, like, I hope I'm showing you why this, as jumbled as it may be, there's a definitive advantage to being on the top of this map if you're being defensive or you're looking to have a safer approach. Because the bottom of the map is far more open and less cluttered than the top of the map. All right. So let's try to erase all this. We're going to move our Goblin King off of the board here. Take our little X's and O's away. and little vectors. Boom. All right. Okay, so now we have a new question. And that is, Dark Logos, if we know that the top half of the map is giving us this great approach, and then what is the advantage? I mean, so how many blocking squares of blocking terrain is there that creates this huge advantage and disadvantage? All right, so let's look at that. Let's realistically look at that. So I sort of drew a line, separate in between, just showing here's our nice middle of the map. I'm going to give us these 3 squares here. Well, these 3 lines. So this is fundamentally, to me, the middle of the map. Now, I know some of you might say, like, hey, you know, actually no, like up to 12 should be the middle of the map, or whatever. I get it. But I wanted to try to do it like this just to give you a good perception of what your midfield look like. So even to make it more fair, I'll go all the way down to 13. And we'll just call this the no man's land. And we can see in this no man's land, we have a good amount of blocking terrain in here. All right. But if we look at the top of the key, we approach more blocking terrain that's better from an approach perspective, a defensive perspective, than how light it is on the bottom half of the key. Okay, the bottom half of the map. All right. So we can automatically definitively say, like, the top of the key allows us to safely approach from the left side of the map, this direction. We can post up in here, or if we wanted to, we have full liberties to go this way. All right. Now, if we come from the, you know, all the way going up, we can realistically say, I can hide here, which really doesn't give you that much of a forward presence. I can post up a good chunk of my force here, but we already established that's a death zone. Like, you can get hella shot right in there. Okay, so unless you need to have barrier. You need to have barrier to cover that up. Or I can try to be in here, which we've also established. If you're able to blow up the L13 square, that opens up a really good, nice line of fire. Okay, so really, realistically, this option right here is not so much an option as this being an option, and you really haven't left your starting area. Okay, so that's a problem. That's a huge problem. So as we progress, I'm gonna, you know, let's say I'm gonna creep out and go this way. Well, buddy, I'm very limited in where I'm going. I'm you know, and what I'm about to engage in. Whereas the top of the key just has so much more advantages. So let's sort of count some squares here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. 37. So 37 here. And go down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 31, 32, 34. Okay, so it's almost equal. But we can see how the distribution is played out. Now, let's get rid of all this stuff once more. And let's just go straight for the middle of the map. I'll draw this line here. All right. So again, now we're We're just cutting it directly in half. No midfield, just as a straight 50-yard line. Okay. Top 12, bottom 12. Okay. Now, again, where does this get awkward? We're seeing a lot of elongation. So we got three just long squares of blocking terrain. 3 squares of blocking terrain here. 2. So we got 2 here. 2, 1, and 3. So we're definitely talking about length, not width. Okay, we're just talking about length. All right, so you can see from that 50-yard line, having that 3 squares of length pushes us back. That our most open field area is on row 16. Whereas on top of the key, the most open field area is on row 10. Okay, that's a lot farther up. So it's a lot farther up, row 10 versus row 16. Okay. Now, I know somebody might say, like, hey, look, the space really isn't that significant. But if you look at it in terms of this game, 1 or 2 squares from movement perspective or movement sake is pretty significant. And then again, what have we established? Like, from safety perspective, this kill zone here is so much of a headache that you really don't want to be caught up in that unless you can guarantee that you can dominate that when you position. All right. Now, I really wish I could be back in that whole like rating maps things and be like, this is a map for, this is, a 1 out of 10 or something like that. I really wish I could say that, but I can't. But what I can say is that this map changes a couple of things in how we play. All right. And I want to be clear. Excuse me. I want to be clear on that. Like how it just changes how things work and how we play. Number 1. If you have a theme team and you're going to utilize this map with everything that we've talked about, I wish there was like a typing tool. Or I can just bring up like, no, I can't bring up, I can bring up Notepad. So I was fiddling with that anyway. All right, clearing that out. Nothing to see there. Was filling with some ID cards that didn't work. All right, so got this on here, and hopefully the Notepad is decent size. Oh, you can't even see it in OBS. I wonder how they do that, and because I've seen other people sort of do that. I guess I would have to. I'll have to add it. Anyway, I'll do that later. Because I really wanted to have like the Notepad on here and be like, hey, check this out. But since I can't show the Notepad directly, is there anything else in here? Nope, those are pictures. That's a log. Okay. All right, so the first type of teams that I feel that will do the best in the current format with this are teams that are theme teams that have a lot of Kool-Aid Mans. Okay, so that's the first, and I'm going to try to use the little chat on the side. So if you can, blow that up or zoom it in on your own. Actually, you probably can't even see it because my lovely face is blocking that. I'm going to try moving it live and see if that shows up now. But if it doesn't, I'm still in the corner and you probably won't see it. So, yeah. So, anyway, let's quick transition. Bam. There we go. We're going to there it is. Okay, so that gave me a little bit more understanding of how this works. All right. So, theme teams with a lot of Kool-Aid Mans are going to be like the first things that's going to just dominate this map. BVS Soups is the man. A little expensive for 300 points, but he is the man. And the main reason is he just goes through and just says, I slapped you, and what are you going to do about it? And then I'm going to retreat to any number of these safe places. So a pocket Kool-Aid Man, like who has a disadvantage on this map? Pocket to Kool-Aid Man. So we're going to just say disadd. Okay, actually, no, it's 1D. Disadd, pocket Kool-Aid Man. So we have a oh yeah versus a oh no. Okay, now why is a pocket Kool-Aid Man bad versus a permanent Kool-Aid Man? Okay, let's talk about that. A theme team with the pocket Kool-Aid Man can just go through this entire map until the Kool-Aid Man or multiple Kool-Aid Mans die and just reshape the map to how they like it. They are at liberty to run long-range figures and on that same turn maximize that range. Okay? Most other teams end up having liabilities for the setups. If you don't have the Kool-Aid Man, you're spending an action to destroy one square blocking so that you can open up a shot. Because again, sort of like we were going through with the Goblin King exercise. If Goblin King, and I have the wrong tool selected. Let's move Goblin King down. If Goblin King is let's just say in here, like, oh, well, even more so, Goblin King is over here, and I have a Skyscraper Wonder Woman over here. Okay, I'm gonna ping my Skyscraper Wonder Woman. It behooves me to think about this. Like, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I should spend my actions opening up a shot against this Goblin King. Now, I can either, try to figure out with the rest of my team how I'm going to do that, or if I'm just going to make that a nice clean shot. Okay, so let's just say I have to clear out these squares here, these squares here, and this one, like all the way down here. All right, so that's all this area here. Now, that's a lot of space. Okay, and I may not be able to do all of that with one character. But the fact that I can go in and create a problem for that Goblin King, right there, and I can just say like, hey, Goblin King, you're double tokened. How safe do you feel being there? Because I know I can get something close to a kill shot on you. And I have a non-push Nick Fury. So if I want to make sure that this goes off, I can go and I can take out all this here and maybe, yeah, maybe one of these squares here. Okay. All right, so let's just say I'm able to, actually, let's just say I'm able to take that out too. All right, so all I have to do now is get Nick Fury like here. Actually, right here. And I should be able to try to get, or I could just be like a direct line of fire. Yeah. And then still I messed this up because Dark Logos can't see for some reason. Yep, I was right. Okay, so I can just establish, okay, I move Nick up. All right, boom, 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 destroyed all that. Goblin King clears, and now I'm going to push Nick to destroy Goblin King. Like, I could do something like that simple. All right. Now, if I have a pocket Kool-Aid Man, there's a problem. But let's just say I don't want to move Nick. And I'll elaborate that. And this is why the pocket Kool-Aid Man is a problem. I destroy just this with my pocket Kool-Aid Man. But in addition to that, and I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to pick yellow. I have to destroy this and this. And go, let's say, yeah, that. Yeah, boom. Or even that other square too, hypothetically. It's not worth me calling in another ID character for that. I should have the elements on my team to allow me to make that shot. And if I don't, I'm at a huge disadvantage. And there's a lot of teams that I see people meddling and thinking about that would have a problem taking out that much blocking terrain. All right. The next team that has a huge advantage on this map, it's no lie, Shredders. Shredders are great. Why do Shredders have a huge advantage on this map? All right. Thing number one, you can hide Peace Machine quite well. Like, good luck getting the Peace Machine in some of these setups. Like, Peace Machine can hide in any number of places that is convenient for the Shredders team, or even more inconvenient for the opposing team. So, like, we have to consider that first and foremost. If you want to go chase down Peace Machine, by all means, do waste your time. It's not worth it. Do waste your time. Just understand that's what you're doing. And we already talked about lines of fire and how to approach. If a Shredders picks this map, you for real want to put them at the bottom of the key. You do not want to give them the top of the map, because you give them the top of their map, the Peace Machine is going to be super safe. And I'm going to pick yellow for, like, don't do this. Peace Machine is going to be all in this, just right there. And if he's at the bottom of the map, he's going to be hiding out right in here and maybe right in here. If he's trying to be a little, a little mini taxi early game, and then saying like, yep, I took you guys to band camp. Everybody get off. Okay. There's no reason for Peace Machine to hide here or hide in here. If up the top of the key. I can understand why people would do it, but I don't think that's a good idea. If Peace Machine gets aggressive and comes on down the line, and I know this yellow is not that appealing. If Peace Machine comes on down the line, then yeah, it's the same standard engage as anything else. But Peace Machine can straight hide. Okay, so that's the first thing that I would definitely point out. Next thing is the Shredders have enough spaces where you can't get a lot of shots off on them. Like, one of the biggest disadvantages with the Shredders is that, a couple of pops into them, they're annoying, but they're not that bad. Like, they're really not that bad. Actually, let me just get everything off the map. Get out the pool. Okay, let's try this again. Get out the pool. There we go. So, Shredders are really not that super durable, in the sense of a couple of shots, their stats go down. If they don't have Ocean Resurrection or something else, they can easily die. All right, now, if you take that step back and you look at the approach vectors that we've talked about previously, Shredders aren't taking a lot of hits. They just aren't. And so they're going to be on top of you like white on Asian rice. It's just all over, and it's not fun. It is not fun. All right, so that's the next team that I feel really just dominates this map. Okay. The obvious team that more people are going to look at to dominate this map are, I'm going to call them terrain teams. Okay. Now, why am I saying terrain teams? Because if you have the ability to bounce your smoke cloud and bounce through smoke cloud or bounce through hindering terrain, then yeah, this map, you have tons of opportunities of just doing that, okay, without being restricted. You put up barrier and you want to hide out or have an adaptive approach. Good luck. Good luck getting through 3 super rare green lanterns with all their free barrier. Good luck. Good luck getting through that, because it's going to be a pain. It just is. And if you have the temp Kool-Aid Man versus the perma Kool-Aid Man, you can't ever go after a major attacker. You have to kill a GL, which functionally doubles down on their value, because they're no different than a taunt and an MMO from a tank. It's never, the taunt is to protect the DPS. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, I feel like those teams in particular come out ahead. Another team that I think comes out slightly above, but not necessarily definitively ahead, are those hypertaxi teams and those teams that also have the hypermobility, you know, like God Flash or your overdrives or your common GL, Elseworlds GL tanks and stuff like that. Those teams come out a little bit above. You know, they got some positives, but they have some negatives. Now let's break that down. If you have a rush team, and you or let's just say you have a overdrive team. An overdrive team wants the bottom of the key. And I know a lot of you are going to say, what the heck, Dark Logos? But you're going to see specifically why real quickly. All right. Look at your staging area. Just look at it. You have a nice distance here down at the bottom that you can place your objects and set up your team to be, you know, near or adjacent to the overdrive without much setup. Okay? Over in here, it's a little awkward. It's just a little awkward. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just a little awkward. When we're looking at how far we can, you know, just giddy up and go from the bottom of the key, you can turn this into a very defensive situation and just go straight here. There's no reason for you to go over here. That's some Gilligan's Island journey. Okay? That's bad. All right. You can just go here. All right. If you want to go on some Gilligan's Island journey, just you do it, but no, that's not Dark Logos approved. Okay. So you're not ever going this way, because it's just easier to go like this. Okay, I'm just saying. And if you're going to hide out, why are you playing overdrive? I mean, if you have like a come at me bro strategy, then again, I don't know why you're playing overdrive. So again, like if you're playing, you know, a hyper carry, you have good places to set up, and then the next turn push to where I'm drawing the X's. Like your opponent, you should be able to hit all of those places in some form or fashion. Okay, now this is my follow-up with that, and actually this one over here is actually, I'm wrong on that one. I don't. If your opponent's in there, I don't think you're going to be able to hit that unless they didn't pack barrier or they did something stupid. Okay, I'm going to preference these 3 zones here with don't go and move to set up again. Like, move when you know, like, I'm about to kill these fools. Okay? Don't live here either. Like, I'm not kidding. Do not live here. Don't. Because there's too much that can be done to make that unstable. And definitely if they have a Kool-Aid Man or at least a single character with improved targeting destroys blocking. This is not safe permanently. Okay, this is a good landing spot. This is not safe. Okay, this isn't like, you know, where we bunker down. This is the Alamo. Like, you can die here. Okay, so with your hypersonic teams or your high movement, I'm in and out bob and weave teams, you can be anywhere. You can literally be anywhere depending on the engage, and it work out for you. And that's the cool thing about this map. In particular, let's go look at a key square. P24. If you're able to retreat to P24, your opponent has to get you from in here or this direction. That's it. They would have to blow through a lot of blocking terrain to try to get you in that P24 square. Okay? Let's also look at another point on the map. Here. K7. Alright, if you're able to dip around the K7, if your opponent's coming at you, they either have to get up and on the inside here, okay, or blow out J7 to get a shot on you. And even then, that's a very, very short distance. You can, if they miss, that's an easy retaliation. And then you go and zip off somewhere else on the map. All right. So, like I said before, like it's easy to see that hypersonic speed teams can.
Sorry, I didn't.
Yep. Sorry, Cortania. I don't need you right now. All right. So you can easily see that there's a lot of just shenanigans that a hypersonic speed team can do on this map. So I could go in and say, like, teams that should never be on this map. I could do that, but that's just too many teams. There is one warning that I am going to say, and I think this is a conversation that the heroclix community should really talk about, and it's one of the main reasons why I had my rule book initially. So there is a page when it talks about your starting area, and I don't know. Yeah, I think it's like page 3. There's a rule about starting area, and I think game piece, the map, game. All right, I guess it's not in this one. I guess it was in the. Nope, it wasn't in this one. It was in the advanced. I think it was in the advanced compendium. Anyway, but there's a rule in the game now, and it came out in the new set, and it pretty much says that, look, if I have a starting area and I have a 3x6, and this is my gripe because I'm hella biased towards Brainiac Skull shit. So I have a 3x6. Previously, I could fit that sucker into my starting area. If I could, I know that's bad. Yeah, that's real bad. That's not even in the starting area. That's the worst part. Okay. All right, so I have my 3x6, and I'm gonna draw it nice and maybe not green. Let's not do green. Real time. Let's do red. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, here's my Brainiac Skull ship at the bottom of the key. All right, this would extend my opponent's starting area by 1 line. Okay, just 1 full line because I extended my starting area by 1 line. Under the current rules, I cannot, and I repeat this, I cannot extend my starting area by 1 line. I have to legally be able to place the Brainiac Skull ship, which there is not one, and I do mean it, not one legal place to place a 3x6 on this entire map. Okay, not one. Okay, so what would normally happen is, according to the rules, is that if you expand and try to fit, you know, the 3x6 or whatever it is, wherever you legally possibly can, until the starting line would exceed into what would be, starting area would exceed into what would be your opponent's starting area. And then at that point, every figure you can't place can't be will be KO'd. Now, what does that mean when it comes to the game? Well, that means retroactively, all 3x6 characters are royally screwed. Like Pornhub level. Okay? That's how bad it is. And the reason I say that is in the last 3 to 4 sets, we've had some very heavy theme teams. Like, if you look at Asgardian, Cosmic, Gotham City Underworld, what are those? Bombshells, whatever their bombshell keyword is. There's been a lot of theme teams that are out there. And for a theme team to specifically be able to pick any map in which a 3x6 cannot be placed, and they automatically score the 3x6, that's not fair. And I know WizKids will be like, but you know, we don't support Golden Age and Legacy, blah, blah, blah. But last time I checked, freaking Brainiac Skullship is modern until retirement. Okay? You've nerfed something that's still legal. Whether, and this points to the future of WizKids, because it's quite clear that they are phasing out 3x6s from the game. Because if they introduce any 3x6 into the game, it's utter trash because of this rule. Previously, and I'm going to, erase my burgundy tic-tac-toe game there. Previously, with the starting areas extending, and then they are clear terrain until you move out of them, sets it up so that you could potentially do something. But there's another problem with this rule. Let's just say I have a ton of 2x2s. Okay? And for whatever point game, I fill up, all the way to that lovely half point line. But guess what? I have a special object. Or my opponent has a special object. My opponent has a boxing ring. Yeah, that's how big a boxing ring. A boxing ring. Guess what? All those game elements have to be a certain distance from the starting area. My opponent has more special terrain. Yeah, my mouse work is like grade A right there. Guess what? Those things are gone and they're automatically scored. So it leaves us in a position for a lot of abuse, way more abuse than we may have ever thought of before. And the reason why I say that is this. You can have a situation in the game currently where your entire force can be Colossal Retaliators. Low, cheap Colossal Retaliators. What do you do? What would you realistically do if someone was able to fill up half the map with cheap Colossal Retaliators? Now, no, I do not know if that's mathematically possible in a standard 300-point game. But I do know this. For a lot of people listening, they don't just play standard 300-point games. And I know it can be abusive of like the person that makes like 100 points of Leanne Harper's. Yeah, I know that can be annoying. That can be straight up just abusive. But outside of that one dink, for the rest of us that play, this rule says to like our classic collections, you're just a nice little crappy statue. You're a nicely made statue of cheap plastic. Whether it's OG Whiz Kids, second generation Whiz Kids, or new hipster Whiz Kids, if we have any 3x6, it's trash. It's a statue. It's not a functional game piece. Because the moment you play it, if you face a theme team, your opponent can automatically score it. Automatically. And that's not fair. And that to me goes in and defeats the spirit of the game that WizKids so prominently promotes when it's convenient for them to push something and cover their backs when they didn't play test something properly or didn't listen to, their play testers. So I know the intent and the idea was to make everything simplified, but I would definitely encourage everybody to be like, hashtag bring 3x6 back, and just point out like this rule needs to go back to the old rule. Like if you place a multi-base figure, it extends your starting area, and that area is clear terrain until the character moves out of it. And just to be transparent, I was making a team for one last go with Brainiac Skullship. And I know I'm hella biased. I'm so hella biased. And my thought process was, if I was able to play the Brainiac Skullship, and I was able to make a big enough theme team, then I would pretty much guarantee that I would get map. And if I didn't, I would be able to place the boxing ring, so it would clear out a lot of terrain, so that I could then set up a nice place to make my stand with the Brainiac Skullship. And then after I was informed on the ruling, and I was informed on how the replacement measures work with the teleporter and everything else, I just really got sick. I got sick and I got sad. I got sick because I put in at least a month worth of theory and playing around personally on the team for the WKO. And I got sad because I knew that I had a lot riding on this round of WKOs, and I couldn't take one of my most favorite elements of the game and try one last time to get a first place finish with it. And that's sad. Is it play the smallest violin sad? No. Is it first world problem sad? Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of this show. If you like this format, if you liked how I did this, I'm fully open to criticism. Let me know, like, yo, Dark Logos, make sure that you do blankety blank blank blank, man. Let me know what I need to do to make this little format better, so that everyone can enjoy it. If you're like, hey man, you are freaking a Spectre over there, like, what's up with that? If that's an issue, let me know. If it's like, better background, whatever, just let me know. We'll try to go from there. All right, like always, you can follow me on Twitter at StartOverPod. It came from outer space and told me, man, next Wednesday is going to be the inaugural kicking off of my being on Steam. I mean, not Steam, Twitch, and trying doing this Twitch thing. Unfortunately, on Valentine's, I didn't realize a couple of things. Number one, that I was going to try to do it yesterday, which is technically when I'm recording this is Valentine's Day. Number two, I didn't realize my nephew would be sick and over at the house. So I was helping my mom with my nephew a little bit, doing the whole Uncle Eddie thing. And last but not least, like with my nephew is over, like wherever I am is where he wants to be. And unless Paw Patrol is going on, he's going to follow me around. So if I start recording, it's going to be an issue because I could get flagged on YouTube because you're going to hear like Paw Patrol, ba 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 ba. So yeah, I don't want to get flagged on YouTube for violating something or other. Yeah, so you can email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. Keep it piffy, keep it interesting, keep it awesome, baby. Let me know how your brick of X-Men has turned out. Did it turn out great? Did it turn out crap? Were you mad about your ID cards? Or were you happy you got everything from, you know, heroclixmas you can ever dream of from an X-Men set? And last but not least, if you want to donate to the show, feel free to do so at startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. If you creep behind the old articles and the leaves and maybe even a dead, laid over Galactus or two, you'll find a donation button. And there, everything goes to make this show better. All right. Again, I'd like to thank everybody in the past that's helped make this show possible and sort of transition to this stage. Definitely, I know with the episode Topography was usually brought to you by Matt Miller and people like you. But this is unfortunately probably going to be the new future unless I find like a real reason to bring up an actual physical map. So this is what we're going to be doing. All right, that's it. I'd like to thank you all for listening, and remember, we all have to start over sometime.